min. If it opens up, it has a min. If it opens down, it has a max. So those are more like note cards, more like things to remember. You got a lot of them. This test is a lot of stuff to remember. So sooner or later, sooner get this stuff down sooner than later. F of zero means to put 0 in for x. Okay, and so we are going to graph this, but we're just filling all this other stuff. So could you put 0 in for x and tell me what you come up with?
I got 9.
You got 9. Good. Okay. Now that really leads into how you graph this thing. So we talked about this with absolute value. The way you graph this thing is the vertex goes right in the middle there, and you choose 2 smaller and 2 larger. Now, unfortunately, that 0 that you just found for x doesn't count because you're not gonna use that point. You could, but they really want the vertex and then 2 points left and then 2 points to the right.
All right.
So, and again, by symmetry, 2 and 4 are the same and 1 and 5 are the same. So what I would tell you to do is do 4, put that in for x, and then do 5 and put that in for x, and so on.
So for 5, it would be 4.
Okay, which means that for 1, it's 4.
For 4, it would be 1.
Okay, so these are ordered pairs. So you go to your graph here, 3, 0, 2, 1, 4, 1, 5, 4, and then 1, 4. And again, it's got a U shape, like you have to give it a little bit of a curvature when you graph this thing, especially down here at the bottom. And then also the arrows at the end. Some students graph it first. Some students do this other stuff first. It's up to you. Doesn't really matter. Just you have to do. Get it all down. All right. Any thoughts on that? Questions before we move on to number 2?
No.
Okay. So my question to you is do you want us to graph this first or do all the other stuff first, like we did in the previous problem?
Let's go ahead and do the other stuff.
Yeah. So this one, let's do transformations. No, it doesn't ask for it, but it's a good review because you will be asked to do it at some point. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 transformations here. I'll take any of them that you see here. And that's
It's right to
right too. Okay,
reflection over the x-axis.
good.
Vertical stretch by 4.
Okay, and then the last one,
Up 4.
up 4, good. Okay, now the other way to do the vertex, and really it does come from, it really does come from these two, from 1 and 4, but it's to remember that it's a x minus a squared plus k, and the vertex is always the value of a and k. But I think it's easier to get it from the transformations, but you can do both. I mean, if I've just given an equation, I'll do this, but if I have the transformations, I've got that. So could you give me the vertex, please?
The vertex would be 2, 4.
2, 4, good. Okay. Now that's a point. That's a point on there. If you were going to graph it, you have to do everything we just said. You have to actually get the vertex first. You really can't do it without that, but we'll come back to that. So axis of symmetry. So from the previous problem, the axis of symmetry is always x equals h, whatever the x value of the vertex. And it's the full equation. You can't just write 2. You have to say x equals 2. It's the full equation. All right. To determine whether it's a max or a min, you have to decide, does this open up or down? And if you're not sure, you can wait till you graph it to figure that out. But what do you say? Does this have a max or a min?
That has a max.
Yes, it has a max. And it's like true false. There's no partial credit. So make sure you really are sure. All right, so G of 0, that's one of the points on our table here. That'll be the same as 4. Go ahead and give that a try. Like I said, you can either do G of 0 is the same as putting 4 in for x. So you can put 4 in if you prefer, but they'll give you the same result. But go ahead and work out these table values for me, please.
I got -12 for 0 and 0 for 1.
For 1. Yes. And then by symmetry, here are the other ones here. So this is always where I you, your instructor didn't really give you enough room to graph these things. You gotta just do your best to kind of put them approximately where they go. But more importantly is show some curvature when you're graphing these things. Like don't make straight lines kind of, you don't have to be an artist, but it needs to look like they're somewhat smooth. Okay. And the nice thing is it confirms what you already said, which is that this is a max. You will sometimes, and I don't know if this is upcoming, sometimes be asked for increasing and decreasing domain and range. We don't have to do them here, but keep that in mind that is a possibility. All right. You want to send over a couple more problems we can look at, or
Yeah.
you may know enough here to do some on your own, but we'll just keep going here. Got it. Let's see here. How many total problems do you have for homework?
Total problems. There is 19,
19.
but not all of them are like this.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them are like parts of like one of the problems. But yeah, there's 19 problems.
All right. My snipping tool is not working right now. Let me close it. This was causing an issue earlier. Let's reload it. All right. Yeah, I mean, like, keep that in mind. Like I would recommend we only do 3 here. Huh, why is this? Wow. Got it. Sorry, I'm having some issues with my snipping tool. Windows Shift S. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Why does this always happen? Okay. Wow. Okay. Let me try one more thing here. I'm having a bit of a technology problem. And let me see if just reloading this will get it to work. It will. Great. All right. Let me share screen. Okay. So one of the differences about this one, I'll have you give me the transformations here first, and then I'll talk about this one a little bit different. There are 4 again. So whenever you're ready, if you want to.
So there is the left 2.
Okay, agreed.
There's a vertical shrink by 1/4.
Okay, and did you confirm with your teacher that that's the language they want? Shrink, compress,
Yeah.
1/4. Okay.
And then it's a reflection across the x-axis.
Okay, very good.
And
And
then
then,
it's up one.
up one, good, okay. Can you give me the vertex next, please?
The vertex would be uh, -2, 1.
Very good, okay, so there's your vertex. Axis of symmetry is x equals -2. Again, I would do it as a dashed line if that was, something that wanted. The next thing here is when you make the table. Okay, and this applies to fractional numbers out front. You still put the vertex right in the middle, okay? But the problem is when you do like negative, sorry, I did the classic mistake here, -3, -1. I want you to watch this. We're at a g of -1. G of -1 is -1/4, -1 plus 2 squared plus 1. -1, -1 plus 2 is 1. Squared is 1. So you end up getting -1/4 plus 1, which is bad. Okay, now why is that bad? Because you're introducing fractions. It's hard to graph fractions. So what is the alternative? Well, let's look at a different point here. Let's go more to the right. Let's go to 0. Okay, what does g of 0 look like? Well, -1/4, 0 plus 2 squared plus 1. 2 squared is 4. -1/4 of 4 is -1 plus 1 is 0. See how that's a nicer point? It's nicer than 3/4. Let me know if you're still there. I can't, if you're saying anything, I'm not hearing you.
Oh yeah. Here.
Okay. So what we want are nice points. Okay. Now notice that 0 is 2 to the right of -2. That means instead of -3, we want to go to -4 because we want to go 2 left of 0. So we want to create the symmetry, but we don't want to just choose any old point. We want to choose numbers that work out nicely because we're graphing it. Okay. Now, if we were to put 1 in, and we look ahead here, 1 plus 2 squared is 3. What is 3 squared? 9. -1/4 of 9 is another fraction. So we probably don't want to do that. But what if we go one more to the right and we go 2? Well, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. -1/4 of 16 is -4. Are you everything okay there? I mean, I had a little technology issue. I just want to make sure that there's an issue with our connection right now.
Um, yeah, I think I get it.
Okay. So the point is that you don't necessarily always go just like you get the vertex. You don't just go too smaller and too larger. It's like sometimes, and specifically with these ones that have fractional numbers in front, your spacing is going to be different. Okay, so I want you to find g of 2 for me, please, if you don't mind.
It'd be -3.
Very good. All right, so what you really want are whole numbers, integers and whole numbers. You don't want fractions. You really don't want to have fractions here if you can. So there's -4, 0, 0, 0, 2, -3. Oops, I let you go out too far. That should have been -6. -3. All right. Like that. Okay. And then you again, kind of like something smooth, with some arrows. Does this have a min or a max?
This would have a max.
Got it. Very good. Okay. So I do not think we should do number 4 because I think you can do that on your own. If you want, though, we can. But maybe looking at some other questions might be good. If you ever want to just send over the entire assignment, I could sort of pick and choose problems that I think would be good for you to see, to give you the best coverage.
Yeah, so this is the, let me, so here's the PDF of the homework.
Let me save that. Let me save that. All right. So yeah, so we've done one. So those are all good. Yeah, we ought to do like problem like 6 or 7. Why don't I grab 7? Is that okay?
Mhm.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah.
Okay. You're the customer, Karthik. You can always say, hey, you know what? I don't want to do that. You get to decide. All right. So the important thing here is that again, one more thing to remember. Oops, this equation on the right. Like you have to wake up, if you're not, unless you're gonna get a reference sheet, you got to know this equation really well. Now you also need to know that the vertex is h comma k. So in your problem, h is 3, k is -4.
Got it.
All right. So the way you start this out is you first put in h and k. So it becomes x -3 -4 like that. All right. And then this right here, this f of x, they're really giving you an ordered pair here right here. They're giving you, this is x and this is y. They're giving you an ordered pair -1 comma -2. And so the next thing you do, this is first, the next thing you do is you put that in. So it's your f of x is -2. That's the y value equals a -1 minus 3 squared minus 4. And then you're going to solve for a. So I'd like you to get caught up to here in your notes and then solve this for a for me, please.
All right, I got 1/3 for A.
Okay. Did you, hopefully you added 4 first?
Um, I did that after I solved in the parentheses.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so 2 equals then a minus 4 squared like that.
Yeah, so but I
Okay,
did -2 equals a, and then parentheses -4 squared plus or -4.
but
Then
you still have to, so
yeah,
so even if you do it the way you're talking about, which would be -2 equals, you still should get 16a minus 4. You still have to add the 4 first
yeah,
and then divide by 16.
yeah, that's what I did.
So I got 1/8. I got a equals 1 divided by 8, not 1/3. So check, I don't know, just check there. That goes back into this line right here. And you're just rewriting. You're saying, okay, f of x equals 1/8 x minus 3 squared minus 4, like that.
I think it's the division because I did because when I was taking 16a, I read it as 6a below it, and
Okay.
then did the division, so then I changed this. Yeah, it'd be 18 or 8. Would be
So we
1.
have time here. I think it'd be good for you to try this one on your own, 6, and then we'll tackle 8 together. But
Okay.
again, you want to use that equation, the standard form. This is called vertex form. There's 2 different forms of parabolas. Well, there's actually more than 2, but go ahead and give this one a try, please. It's the same as the last one we did.
I got, oh wait, actually, 1 second.
I'll fill in the stuff that, this part, it really comes from the vertex, and that's the
Yeah,
basic stuff there. If you
so,
didn't write this, if you had the wrong sign here, it will affect your value of A.
so I got f of x equals -2/49.
No, 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 okay, okay. All right, let's try that again. So, did you get this part here? Did you get x plus 2 squared plus 1?
Yeah,
Okay. Which of these is x, 5 or -1?
5.
Okay. So you said -2/49?
Yeah,
Okay, I apologize. You are correct. I was misreading it. I just couldn't believe how bad that was to start at. So, good job. Good job.
and then,
I like starting students out with nice answers because there's some confidence to be gained, but all right. So we'll probably will not do 8, but I want to make sure that you know how to do 8 when you have to do it on your own here. You need to first figure out which is the vertex.
yeah,
And to do this, like, and I know that for whatever reason, it's really hard for students, but you're gonna do this all the time in engineering, is you need to make a quick sketch. You be like, all right, these are ordered pairs. This is X and this is Y. So like, let's just say -13 is 12. Well, -10, 7 is there-ish. And then -7, 12 is there. And -4, 27 is maybe up there. Okay. The point is like, you need to be able to make a quick sketch of this and realize that that is the vertex. And I would just quickly sketch the points, and it's not about them being accurate with a grid, it's getting the right shape,
yeah,
which is hard. It's hard to just make a quick sketch, but that is what's needed. So 8, you're gonna use the vertex, that's your
yeah,
HK.
yeah,
You pick another point for that.
yeah, then we saw an example in class that was a little more straightforward where it had like, one of the values, x and y, like the y, it was, perfectly, it was, since it was symmetrical, some of the y value, some of the y values and x values are the same as other, um, and so it's easy to see like the vertex. Here, let me nip in that problem read in the notes. Then, so we did this problem. Let me put it in the chat. We did this problem in class.
Right?
Yeah, and if you see on it, um, in class we were pretty easily able to identify that 2, 3 was the vertex, and you would use 0, 1 as one of the points.
If you didn't, you could say, okay, that's -2, -5, that's
Yeah,
-1, 1.5, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then you should
yeah,
start seeing,
this one was pretty easy because it had the pattern, the Y.
yeah. Okay, so that's enough for you to be able to do this problem here. I want us to look at this next grouping, 9 through 14. We'll start with 9 through 11. I kind of overlooked this last time, right, in the previous problem, but when the number in parentheses is the x value. So x here is -3, x here is -5, x here is -7. And they're just asking you to find that x value and then determine the y value that goes with it. So
So for
y
number,
f,
yeah, so
go
for
ahead.
number 9, for example, that would be -5.
Good.
And for number 10, it would be -7.
Okay, good,
And then for -7, it would be -4.
good, good. So not too bad. All right. Let's look at number 12, but we have the table. I'm going to reset with the table here. And then for number 12 here. So this time they're like giving you the y value. This is what's confusing for students. They're giving you the y right here. So this time you're searching for -6 in the bottom.
So this would be -4 then.
Yeah, A is -4. Good. Now for 13, I actually really like 13. I'm probably going to use that for a question of the day, which I'm going to get back to posting on my social stuff. Again, it's like, yeah, you got to figure out where is the y value -3, which is at -6. Okay. But what that means is this whole thing here, 4 minus 5b equals -6 like that. And then you have to solve for b. So it's like an additional step there. So if you don't mind, would you solve that for b, please?
Let's see. First off, it would be 5 equals negative equals 2/5.
Try again. It does work out nicely.
Or
Give the
sorry,
whole number.
b equals then um, is it
But
0.4?
quick review here. 4 is positive, so you're subtracting 4 from both sides. -5b equals -10. Divide by -5,
Oh,
b equals 2.
yeah, I think I added 4 to both sides. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's where the problem is. And then you would subtract from both sides, and yeah, you would get that.
All right, so assume you have the table up on your side, or do you need me to copy down the table again?
I have the table.
Okay, so give me the value of f of -4 and give me the value of f of -7, please.
F of -4 would be -6.
Okay, and f of -7.
That would be -4.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to color code this. This -6 goes in this place here for all of that. And then the -4 goes in for all of this right here. So it becomes -6 minus a -4 over -4 minus -7 like that. So just take a look at that. Make sure you see that the subtraction operator is required in the middle. And then I'll let you simplify this from here. You do have to work on signs.
Alright, uh, I got m equals -2/3.
You seem uncertain about your answer. Are you uncertain or are you just,
Not the same thing. I got
good,
-2/3.
really good. All right, so let's look at 18. I'm skipping 15, 16, 17. They're important. They're just not related to anything we've done today. So we might want to just, I can't start something new here in the last 3 minutes. There's two ways to do this vertex problem. So one of the issues here is that the part inside parentheses, it's not an X, it's got an 8X. So option one is to factor that 8 out of both the X and the 15/8. And so your vertex is 15/8, comma 17. That's option number one. Option number two, and this actually falls more in line with the way that I would teach this, is you set 8x minus 15 equal to 0. And then you solve for x. And you end up getting 8x equals 15, divide by 8, divide by 8, x equals 15/8. And that's the other way to do it, to get the h. Okay. So it's kind of up to you. Factoring out a number out of a number that's not factorable is kind of uncomfortable for most students. You know, like pulling an 8 out of this, it's uncomfortable. Like it doesn't work. I don't know what to say. It just doesn't work. So kind of your choice there. Let me really quickly show you this for 19. But we are running short on time here. So it's kind of the same deal here. If you factor the 5 out, it becomes x plus 11/5 squared. And so your vertex is minus 11/5, comma -13, or you set the 5x plus 11 equal to 0, and you also get -11/5.
Got it.
All right.